I talked too much again last time. Here is video number 3 in my 3-part series officially. This is the last video, like it has to be, because we're running out of books. I'm basically ranking all of the books I read last year from worst all the way to best, and I just talk so much that I just couldn't do it all in one video. I've gotten through my top 8, and now we have number 2 and number 1 to get through. Oh, this is what I've been waiting for. The whole time I've just been okay, I gotta go back into the mindset I was in when I was reading all these books. I just can't wait to talk about number 1. There's just so much to discuss with number 1, so get ready. Number 2, we have God, A Human History by Reza Aslan. Man, this one was so good that I actually had to buy it. I haven't been buying books, I don't really have the budget for that, but I did anyway. I really had to, cause dang, this book made me cry so many times. I bought it after borrowing it from the library. I knew I needed to buy this one just a couple chapters in. So Reza Aslan is a scholar on religion. Sometimes he'll favor scholars who definitely don't have the majority vote of confidence. They might have a view that a lot of scholars disagree with. But he honestly shows that in his footnotes. He talks about the conflicting viewpoints and the alternate theories about some of the stuff that he talks about in here, which I appreciate. But when it comes to historical facts, it's solid. And I think a lot of his interpretations do make a lot of sense, and they do have some basis in scholarship. Above all, this book is about the evolution of our concept of God throughout the ages. Literally pre-agriculture. I'm talking it goes back 40,000 years. A couple of the things he shows that he argues are idols are 200,000 years old. That's crazy. So, spoilers. Spoilers, we're gonna go really far back into human history. It starts with ritual burial that he argues reflects our belief that we have a soul and that other things have a soul too. And not just other humans, but animals and objects in our environment as well. And that evolves to a kind of spirit of the environment around them that can ensure a successful hunt or bring downfall if it's not pleased with them. This sort of forest spirit type thing, to a kind of national mascot of sorts, someone who can help you win the battle, right? And then it kind of turns into a man who created the whole world, and then finally to the ineffable, indescribable, perfect being he is conceived of today. And that was in big part thanks to Islam. Learning about the things ancient humans did to transcend our everyday surroundings is just so amazing to me, and it really touches my heart. A big part of the first chapter is cave art, and cave art always just does something to me, and I'm sure I'm not alone in that, because it's this is so inherent, it's so intrinsic to what it is, what it means to be human, is to make art, to leave a mark on the world that shows I was here, it kind of reminds me of the whole ferryman thing where Thea looked at the painting and said that's me. It just seems so innocent and lovely to me that we decided to decorate the earth where only we could see. These were places hidden away that only that specific tribe or community would have known about. We put our children's hands up to that wall and said, "Look, that's you," when they pulled away their hand. A mark that can still be seen 40,000 years later. It's mind-blowing, and most other spiritual or religious practices have that same effect on me, to be honest. It's just all so beautiful to me, and although I don't believe in any one religion, I don't believe any of them have all the answers, Whether it's because there is a God and we've always been able to sense it, or if it's just like an odd quirk about us humans, it just really touches my heart. I love the way Aslan tells this story. It spans tens of thousands of years all around the globe as one cohesive story about Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve, like, he kind of uses it tongue-in-cheek, and he's really just talking about like the first Homo sapiens in general. Like, these are just his characters in this book that he uses to kind of illustrate like the beginning of our realization that we have a soul type thing. He kind of reveals like what they're learning about God as we go through the story. And it just like adds a sort of narrative element to it. Like, it's not just like, here's a bunch of history facts. Like, we have like some characters to kind of hold on to and to kind of connect to and empathize with. It makes for a compelling read to kind of have those characters to root for. And this book really focuses on the good parts of religion, but it doesn't refrain from pointing out inconsistencies that specific religions have within them. And it doesn't cover every single religion, but it touches on like most of the main ones. And honestly, if you're at all interested in religion, like, I would highly recommend this one. Because it doesn't like, it's not like super Christian centric like most of the other theology related books on this list. It's more general, and it just kind of is a nice look at like the evolution of spirituality throughout the human existence. It's like it spans so much time and so many different cultures and ways of thinking about why we are the way we are, right? It truly opened my mind, and I feel so connected to every person who's ever lived when I read this book. Like, I don't know, man, like, it's the perfect introduction to religion and why we seem to need it for this odd reason. And at the end, he kind of reveals his personal view, which is he's kind of a pantheist, which I kind of like. It's basically this belief that you can kind of find God in everything. Like, if there is a God, it's like in everything that it created. I don't know if I fully agree with it because it kind of feels like a bit of a cop-out to me, but I still like it as a concept. And he definitely believes in the existence of a soul, and it turns out that maybe our very earliest ancestors did too. And not just our earliest ancestors, but like the other species of humans that used to exist alongside us. Like, there's tidbits in there about like Neanderthals displaying like ritual behaviors. And yeah, it's just like so cool. There's like, you know, pictures and stuff. Like, it kind of shows you like this is like an important artwork from like Islam. Yeah, it's just like there's so much interesting stuff in here. Like, there aren't many books that I actually go out there and buy these days, and this one just like, I could read it a million times. Like, I bought it for the bibliography alone. Like, there are so many esoteric, religious, spiritual, mystical texts that I need to read. Like, oh my gosh, I feel like I could spend the rest of my life doing all the research he did to make this book. Like, it's just so amazing. It's a beauty, and I'm proud to add it to my collection. Okay, we're finally at the end. Trust me, no one is more happy about that than I am. Number one, what do we think? What do we think it's gonna be? Well, if you guessed the Holy Bible, you would be correct. You know, I'm only laughing because I'm not even a Christian. Like, that's the gag. That's the gaggerini of all time. Like, but yes, the Bible. Let's go. Be honest, you knew. Like, you did. You totally did. If you're like watching this video, that means you know me, and that means I've told you about the Bible. Like, it's so funny as a non-Christian, like, being that person these days that's like, have you heard about the Bible? Like, have you heard about Jesus Christ? Okay, listen. There's so much to get into with the Bible, I swear on my life. Yeah, so first of all, fake fan, because I haven't even finished it yet. I haven't even gotten to the New Testament yet. Like, okay, I started off by reading Mark and Matthew and Mark, which are like two of the Gospels, stories of Jesus' life that begin the New Testament, are like the stories of Jesus' life. So I read those two, and I promptly was like, I have no idea what's happening. Like, I don't know what any of these places are. I don't understand any of these stories. I don't know what's happening. Why did Jesus curse a fig tree? That seems kind of mean. Like, who are these people? What's happening? Like, I just knew that even just reading the first two Gospels, I was like, okay, I could study this for the rest of my life. Like, I could be trying to figure out what the Gospels mean for the rest of my life. And evidently, people have been trying to figure out what the Gospels mean for the last 2,000 years. And they're still working on it. So let's get into that. And so after reading those two, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to read the entire thing. Like, from Genesis, from the beginning. Like, just like chronologically. And I know that's not really how you're supposed to read it. Like, if you're part of the faith or whatever, like, that's not how people normally read the Bible. Just like all the way through. Especially before knowing shit from Shinola about what the hell's going on. Like, I knew very basic things, like very core things, but like, I didn't know like the specifics. And I sure as hell didn't know like the structure of the Hebrew Bible, all of the things in the Old Testament that Christians say are like prophecies about Jesus and stuff. Like, I didn't know like all of the dots you can connect when I first started this journey. So like, I resolved to read it the entire way through, and I did not know what I was in for. I have no idea what I was expecting to get out of this, but I found treasure. I found treasure here, which is something I didn't expect at all, let me tell you. So I mentioned I'm not a Christian, and I wasn't actually raised religious either. But I've always had a fascination with the Bible ever since I was little. In fact, I actually tried to read it several times, like from the time I was like 8 years old, before finally seriously picking it up this year. It all started when a gospel musician that I had really loved for years announced that she was re-uploading a bunch of her songs that she had like taken down, that I still missed. Like, even though it had been years since she took them down, like, I still thought about those songs. And she cited Jesus as the reason she both took the songs down and as the reason she was putting them back up. And it was something about like teaching me a lesson about the fact that like he can take away any gift he gives at any time, so you should be like grateful for what you have, something like that. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh my god, this girl is crazy, but let's hear it. Like, I'm so happy to have these songs back, and like, I miss them so much, and I had a ball hearing them again. I don't know, like, even though my knee-jerk reaction was to be like, she's in psychosis, it just was different this time. Like, I was just all of a sudden willing to engage with these concepts in a way that I wasn't before. Like, before, when I would listen to her music, I would just kind of try to pretend like it was about like general spirituality, or like try to pretend like it was about something else altogether. Like, I didn't want to engage with the Christianity of it all. And I was listening to this music and thinking like, what if I convert? Like, I've just been feeling very disillusioned with my life, like working customer service jobs and like 80% of my life being my fucking commute, where I feel like a bull in like the the freaking pen, and I just feel like the entire time, like, and just feeling so lonely, like male loneliness. I have it. I've always said that since the beginning of this whole male loneliness thing. I have it. Like going to work and like going home and like eating your frozen dinner, jerking off, and like no money, no bitches, no prospects. Like that's me down. Okay, like, and it's just like, what if I could have a friend? Okay, like this literally sounds so sad. I have friends, but it's like, and like they're actually really good friends, like who are there for me, and like some of them like have been like so incredibly generous to me and stuff too, and like have helped me when I've needed them. I'm not saying I don't have friends, and obviously my aunt is amazing, but it's like I feel like a lot of us are lonely these days. Like it's like, even though I have friends, it's like it's not like they can be there for everything. They're not my sibling, they're not my parent, and it's like if you're just like trying to make it, it's just hard. Like you're just working and you're just like tired, you don't even want to talk to people. It's just like so exhausting, so depressing. And it's like, what if I could have a friend? Like what if Jesus could keep me company on my subway ride home? That's kind of what I was thinking. I was kind of thinking about this, but thinking, nah, like I already know all of the main arguments against Christianity, so I was already like thinking I'm probably not going to convert. But like what if, you know, like what if I could just believe it? What if it's real? Who fucking knows? Like sometimes reality is stranger than fiction these days. I swear to God. And so I'm thinking about this, and then I come across this like Jubilee video of Alex O'Connor, and it was like 25 Christians versus 1 atheist. And I clicked on it out of curiosity, and like I just remember his arguments were just so different than your average atheist arguments, and like it was really interesting stuff that I had never thought about before, and I was like, there's so much here to get into. Like it made me want to check out the Bible more. And then I watched like some of his debates, like the one where he like absolutely slaughtered Dinesh D'Souza and made him look like a total clown, and really digging deep into the Gospels. And that's what made me want to read the Gospels. So I read Matthew and Mark, and I was like, I don't know what's happening. Let me reset. Let's go back to Genesis, right? And so that's kind of what kickstarted this whole thing. I was watching a lot of videos about this stuff, and I full on went into like an existential crisis. Like I actually want to read you guys, I want to read you like a diary entry. I'm gonna read you from my diary, okay? Like I'm not kidding. Just to show you that I'm not kidding. I'm literally gonna read you from my diary. I'm not kidding, like I'm not kidding. Okay, February 2025. Okay, yeah. I see it. Okay, this is February 8th to 11th, 2025. For real. I've written so much since then. I genuinely can't believe that it's been 4 days since I wrote last. I've been very lost and confused. I've been exploring religion and specifically Christianity, mostly by watching this guy Alex O'Connor debate Christians about the Bible. My conclusion is that the Bible is unreliable at best. Who do I think I am? There are contradictions about Jesus, and it really just seems like a long game of broken telephone, many translations away from the original language, and detailing morals and a code of conduct that really isn't compatible with modern society. A ton of misogyny and reprehensible actions. The God of the Old Testament commanded the Israelites to commit genocide, and that is a-okay with Christians. Whoa. That's a little... I think most Christians don't even know about that story in the Bible. The God of the New Testament seems like a completely different God altogether, not to mention the fact that it's all about men. Women are an accessory similar to livestock or land. But because Jesus let women sit with him and told husbands to love their wives, it's all okay, right? Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. But what if it is real? If it is, I don't see the beauty in it like they do. It feels like coercion. It feels like a threat. Most of all, I don't feel loved by a God who threw me in here just to have me magically be able to discern which imperfect, sinful people are telling the truth. I think it's impossible. Oh my God. Oh God, I'm having so much anxiety. Things haven't gotten any better at all. Now my entire YouTube recommendations are Christian stuff, and so much of it is so scary. Like, the more I learn about it, the more anxious I become. I keep seeing videos of near-death experiences where people saw hell. It all feels so dark. I didn't do anything for 3 days. Nothing is helping me forget about it. I feel cursed now that I know more about it. Like a thought experiment, thought hazards, where if you knew it, then you're in a worse position than when you started. Roko's basilisk. Bro, I was like crashing out. Like, this was like a generational crash out. February 20th. I'm pleased to report that I'm not freaking out as much anymore. I do not think any of it is real anymore. Yay! So what now? Yeah, it's like, I said something about, like, I don't think God would want me, like, crashing out. And I don't remember exactly when my existential crisis lessened, but it did eventually get better because, oh my God, March 13th. It's weird, but I feel like my newfound interest in Christianity is changing who I am in a positive way. And it's amazing to me how fast my opinions are developing as I'm exposed to different channels. I was like watching like this ex-evangelical pastor, and then I moved from him to Esoterica, a truly fascinating channel run by an apparent atheist scholar. He's not an atheist, like that's too, he's kind of a reformed Jew, I think. He did an illuminating video on the Gospel of Mary that kind of shook up all I thought I knew about Jesus and Mary Magdalene. Introduced me to Gnosticism. Like, I just started getting into different channels that weren't as much like whether or not the Bible's true, but it's like just cool esoteric stuff. Like, Esoterica is a fantastic channel, by the way. Like, I highly recommend it. Dr. Justin Sledge, love you. But yeah, like, it really scared the bejesus out of me, like, for a while there. Like, that's like genuine. Like, this was a year ago. That's so crazy to think about. That a year ago, I was like actively having an existential crisis. Like, I'm talking, like, not even being able to sleep, being in like half sleep, half awake, where you're just like having the thoughts you were having when you like started to fall asleep, and like it was all about Jesus and Judgment Day and like, oh, am I gonna go to hell? Like, it was like horrible. It was horrible and very anxiety inducing. And I can't believe there was a point in time where I thought, this is bad for me. Like, I need to stop doing this. I need to like cleanse my YouTube algorithm to stop getting like videos about Christianity even recommended to me, because like this is actually bad for my mental health. And I think it was Esoterica and another channel on here, Dan McClellan. I can honestly thank him for everything, because he completely changed the way I see the Bible. Oh my God, like, I'm just getting so excited right now. I need to take off my shirt. I need to take off my sweater, because like, we're gonna get into it. This is just also personal to me, but I will get into the actual Bible, I promise. But like, this is why I'm making this channel. I want to share like who I am and what I'm about. So I just wanted to like talk about it and talk about like what it means to me and how I came to be so interested in this text. Because I feel like I have so much to say that I could never say it to a person in like real life, because they'd be like bored by now. But yeah, like, Dan helped me not be so afraid of the Bible. Like, he helped me like try to see it on its terms. Try to read it with like the people who wrote it in mind. He recommended that people read the NRSVUE, which stands for New Revised Standard Version Updated Edition. I just love that. But you know, I feel like a part of the reason why I couldn't read it as a kid when I was interested in it was because it was the fucking King James. King James, more like King Lames. I'm so sorry if you're like a King James truther, like if you're like a Christian or a Catholic or something, but like it's hard to read for the average Joe. Like I need the Spark Notes, literally. Shakespearean English, and it's like kind of hard to understand, but the NRSV is pretty good, and apparently it's like a solid translation, and I trust Dr. Dan McClellan on that because he worked as a Bible translator for like 10 years. He like knows Hebrew, like he fully knows Hebrew, so I'm pretty sure he's like someone who I would trust to like tell me which translation I should read. And I found out that you can read the Bible for free online. It's like easily accessible, and I read it on this app called YouVersion, which is like the best app I've ever used in my life. Like highly recommend if you want to read the Bible. YouVersion, it's so good. Like you can choose any translation, you can like save verses with like tags, you can like add notes to the verses that you save, you can compare verses between translations. It's like everything. It's so good, totally free. There's like a verse of the day. There's like a little video of someone like explaining the verse of the day. It's dope. Like it's awesome. You can find like online churches if that's your thing. Like if you're a Christian, you can like find online churches to be part of. There's like reading plans. There's like little guided meditations that are like spaces for you to pray to God, and it's like a guided prayer type thing. It's really, really cool. So yeah, like reading that translation got me interested too, because it's like actually easier for me to understand. There's just so much to dig into. Like, okay, my whole life, like growing up, I was like super obsessed with, and I'm still obsessed with, warrior cats. I just love it so much. Like, there's so much to dig into. There's like, I love the spirituality in it. There's like a billion characters and plot lines that you can really spend so much time thinking about. And it's like, I realized something, like the prophecies, the symbolism, the imagery, the rituals, like everything, like the Bible is literally warrior cats for adults. And I've been saying this, like if you know me, like I've been saying this. Because, like, it really is. But imagine if people believed warrior cats was real. Like, that's how I feel. I'm like, and that's the thing, is that, like, I can't wait. Like, I love to talk about this with people who believe, because it's like, I feel like when I get obsessed with something, like, I feel like you need to believe it's real to, like, match my freak. Because I just get so obsessed with things. So, like, you better believe it's real to even like get to my level, like with in terms of like the dot connecting that we're going to be doing. It's just like unlimited stimulation for my brain. Like I can't name the exact moment in time that it stopped being like existential dread and like flipped over to like just being like a good kind of stimulation. Like it was like after 10 years of customer service hell, I'm like really fully invested in a hobby. It's just so fun to think about these stories and like to see it from all these different angles. Like there's so many different ways to interpret so many of these moments from the Bible that we all know. Like even stuff like Adam and Eve, like there's so many different ways to interpret it. And like I like reading the Old Testament as like separate books with no correlation. And then I like looking at the parts that Christians think are about Jesus and like seeing it as one coherent narrative that like circles back on each other so many times. Like it's just, I love seeing it their way and I love seeing it other ways. Like I still haven't converted to Christianity, but I can say that it's made me ask bigger questions of life. Like it's made me a better person because it's made me really honestly look at who I am, what I believe. And it's challenged a lot of the beliefs that I thought I had. And it's interesting because I realized along the way that I actually maybe always already believed. There are just certain things that I can't square away in my mind, but maybe everything in my life has like made me believe in a way. There are things that horrified me about Christianity that I figured out that I believed this whole time. Like the idea that, you know, feed the spirit, starve the flesh, where you're supposed to pray, to fast and pray, because like the flesh is like evil and it's like corrupt by the literal source of evil, the devil, and like the spirit is like the thing that's going to survive death. So you have to like feed the spirit, starve the flesh. You're like sanctifying yourself because you're like a temple of God, basically. I used to be like, ew, like I come from like a very like leftist, like body positive sphere where it's like body's good, like sex good. You can indulge yourself a bit, it's okay. But it's like, yes, I still believe that, I still affirm that, and I still reject this idea that like the flesh is like corrupt and evil or whatever. But don't you ever feel like your body's your enemy sometimes? Like, I know I do. Don't you feel like sometimes like you have to fight against your body like every step of the way? Like every single thing you want to do with your life, you have to fight your body to do it. Like my body just wants to lie in bed all day. I don't know what to say. There's never any other option. Like that's what my body's telling me. If I listened, I would literally do nothing. And I did do nothing for like years. Like I gave into depression for years because of that. And it's like, so I kind of get it, you know? It's like I'm this person inside trapped by this body that just doesn't want to do what I want it to do. I'm getting so like passionate, I'm gonna break my laptop. But it's like, yeah, just things like that I realized that, oh, I actually do kind of believe this. Like not in the way that they believe it, but like I get it. Like I get it. And again, like this relates to like me figuring out what I actually believe, because I would have said that I don't believe that if you asked me, but I kind of do. It's made me so much smarter. Like this need to understand the context and like the geography of these stories, like the names and the customs and the events, like all the different ways of looking at it, like the reasons the books were composed and like what the people writing them aimed to do by writing them. Like it's all so utterly fascinating to me, and I never thought this would happen, but I wake up every day excited to learn more about the Bible and like read more of it. And I'm actually, this is where I reveal that I'm in school for biblical studies and theology. That's why the Bible had to be number one. Like no other book I've ever read has made me go back to school. Like I'm literally back in school because of the Bible. And yes, I'm an atheist. But I'm not an atheist. I don't know why I said that. Like maybe I believe in God, I don't know. But like I'm not a Christian, but sometimes it's like, sometimes it's like, what if? What if I could just do it my own way? That's what every other Christian does. They just don't like to admit that. But like they are fully doing it their own way. Why can't I? Like the only interpretations I can actually get behind are like the symbolic ones where it's like, oh, it's an allegory. But when you look at it like that, it kind of gets scary, like the dots that start connecting. Like sometimes I can kind of see how it could be true if it's allegorical. But if it's literal, it's like I just don't really see that still. But sometimes it's like so tempting, like even with all I know, being raised as an atheist, it's like, it's still tempting. And I feel like a lot of people who were raised like me, not religious, are feeling the pull just because we're so disillusioned with this capitalist hellscape that we're in. We're lonely. We crave connection. We're missing third spaces. People have heard about this. Like there's no third spaces. You go to work and you go home. And if you can afford to, you go to like the bar. Church, that's a third space. You could make friends. You could like, you go like hear some live music and you like sing with people and dance, and like have a good time and like all like focus on your favorite like story together and talk about your favorite characters. Like, that's why people, like, that's what you want. You want community. Like, you don't have to convert, but it's like, maybe that's the only way you'll ever get community. Like, not to say, you know, that you have to, but like, you maybe should if you're lonely. Or just read the Bible by yourself like I do. Listening to the rare Psalms while reading the Psalms. Like, I have the coolest life. I have the coolest life ever. That's why I put this series on, like, while I was doing this video, because like I just really wanted to like have it on in the background and show you what I've been listening to while reading the Bible, because it's like such good Bible reading music. And like, spoiler warning, I guess. It feels so silly to do a spoiler warning on the Bible. Like, spoiler warning, Jesus dies and then he comes back. Just so many things about it are like full circle moments, especially going from the Old Testament to the New Testament. It's just like so interesting. Like, the whole story of Adam and Eve, everyone knows that like the serpent, who is symbolic of Satan, according to Christians, you could also just see that it's just a snake. According to Christians, you know, like the story of Adam and Eve, the snake like deceiving Eve to eat the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, giving some to Adam, they both eat from it, and then God banishes them from the Garden of Eden. And there's a scene where like God is like giving out his punishments to all three of them respectively. And for the serpent, he says like, you will crawl on your belly and like eat dust all the days of your life, implying that they used to have legs. But anyway, he's like, yeah, like you'll be on your belly, you'll like eat dirt, and there will be enmity. You'll be enemies with the offspring of Eve, and he will kill you. He will stomp on you, but you will strike his heel. And like, Christians interpret this to be a grand prophecy about Jesus, because he gets killed by the snake, by sin, but he defeats death and sin with his sacrifice. So it's like the snake bites his heel, but he kills the snake. And it's like, that's only one example of like all of these different like ways to tie the New Testament to the Old. And for like a fringe movement that piggybacked off of like Judaism, it really does, like, I get why it caught on, because man, there's just so many. Like, the first sort of guy in the Old Testament, Abraham, his whole deal is that God like kind of commands him to like sacrifice his son to him, and he's about to do it, and God shows up and goes, jokes, I didn't actually mean that. You don't have to sacrifice your son. Which, reading it like just by itself, you're like, what the hell? That's horrible. Like, this God is actually messed up in the head. Like, that's actually so messed up. But then when you realize that it's a story about like trying to contrast this God with the other gods at the time, where like it was very normal to like sacrifice your children to like gods back then. Like, it did happen. So it's like that whole story of Abraham like kind of almost sacrificing his son, but not. Like, it echoes like God sacrificing his son, but not. Like, that kind of, it's like, because like Abraham, okay, because like, oh my God, God gives this blessing to Abraham that like he's gonna bless all of the nations through him. Like, his offspring are gonna grow into a great nation through whom God is going to restore the relationship that he lost with humanity in the Garden of Eden. Like, and so it's like, and through the genealogies, there are many like lists of genealogies throughout the Bible, and they're so boring, but like this eventually culminates in Jesus, who's like a descendant of Abraham. And it's just so wild. Like, it's like, that's how the story began, and like, this is how it ended. It makes sense when you think about it, where you can kind of like draw parallels between the Old and the New Testament. Like, it's really, really interesting. Yeah. So if you're at all interested in reading the Bible but want to skip the boring parts, I have to, of course, recommend like Genesis. Like, you should read Genesis if you want. It's a classic. Like, it's got all the big stories in there. You've got Adam and Eve, you've got Noah's flood, Tower of Babel, like the whole Abraham thing. Or you could read Job. That's a good one. Job is like an amazing story of faith, and like the structure and tone of it are very like fairy tale-ish and should seem familiar. And like Ecclesiastes is good too if you're like into philosophy. Like, it's pretty short too, that one. Like Ecclesiastes, you could get through that in like a day easily. Daniel chapter 7 specifically is really cool too, because like that chapter in particular is like where we get the idea of biblical angels from. In reality, there are many different types of biblical angels, but this is one kind that like you see portrayed a lot, and like it's pretty dope. So yeah, the Bible like actually did change me. Like, I don't think of it like this magic book that like magically changed me from the inside, but like I accept that many of my own philosophies are shaped by this book, and they already were before I read it, and like I never had much of a choice in the matter. Like, it's part of my life now, for better or for worse, and that's true for a good chunk of the world. Like, this Bible shapes our world. Like, even if you don't think it's true, like it's true enough in that like it actually shapes the world we live in. And like, I don't know, like it was often presented to me as this like woman hating text. My mom always said I could never get past page 3, where like God basically tells the woman she should be subordinate to her husband. But it's like, in a way, reading it has been the most liberating thing I've ever done. Because like it shows me like I don't have to be afraid of it. Like, the Bible is like not by any means a feminist piece of literature, but it's really not even close to as misogynistic as the men who use it for evil against us. Like, really, you can find anything in the Bible. You can find beauty. You can find history at points. You can find like myths. You can find spirituality, and really at the end of the day it's only a mirror, and I saw myself in it. To quote Thea from The Ferryman, it's me. I didn't expect that. So I'm still not even at the New Testament yet, but I will be getting through it this year, I suspect. And yeah, I'll probably do a video at some point about like my experience as an atheist going to an evangelical university for biblical studies and theology. I'm just beginning now, like I just started in the winter semester, so I'll definitely probably make a video about that at some point. Probably when the semester's over, I'll do like a recap. No other book has changed my life in such a like palpable way. And it all came from music, because of course it did. And like, it's so easy for me to see it the other way. Like, Jesus has been reaching out to me. Like, the only way I would listen, which is through music, let's be honest, music led me to wanting to read the Bible. And like, this artist, I'll link one of her videos down below in case you want to check it out. Her songs are so biblically rich that I feel like part of the reason I even wanted to start reading it is so that I could like understand the lyrics to her songs better. And like I freak out to this day, like whenever I like come across a verse that like I know inspired one of her song lyrics. I'm like, oh my god, that's what it's from. Like, it's so cool. So yeah, I'll definitely be like updating on my experience with school. And I have some other like sort of theology related video ideas that I want to do at some point. Yeah, this little series was really fun to do, and it's made me want to do more YouTube videos. So I hope you enjoyed watching me ramble on about these books, and maybe you'll check some of them out for yourself. Keep reading. We need to get smarter. We need to think now more than ever. The world out there is crazy, and we need to be thinking.